Remember that one time I just got 6 Victoriales on the day of 12? Let's just do that again, but we'll do that in week number 1. We'll just start off the competition strong. We'll send a message to the entire region and let them know, hey, we championship material, baby.
Listen, I don't know what is. I think a lot of people were kind of having question marks about this duo and watching like the Cash Cups or even rounds 1, 2, and 3 of this qualifier. But when it matters, when there is a set lobby in front of them in an FNCS, it appears that Veno and Clix, they just click. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I can tell you right now, though, Kelly, games number 2 and game number 4, that one right there, there is a similar strategy. Go for high ground during 11th zone.
I was just about to say, when they're going for high ground, we saw Clix and Epic Well have a lot of potential over the last 2 majors, but where they fell short was when to take high ground. Often they would run out of mats a lot of times or have to use up their heals and then have to drop from high ground. But I don't know if he's listening to Veno or if their coach BloodX is telling them something different, but the strategies coming out of Clix and Veno here is something that we haven't seen from Clix in a while. So I love to see this top performance coming out.
So good. And you know, there was another duo in this last game that is probably one of Kelly's favorite duos of all time.
Are you talking about Batman Booga? Listen.
Yes. Yes.
Listen. Okay, so yes, I talk a lot about the NAOS teams. NAOS isn't a region anymore. We get that. But Batman Booga, a lot of people looked at very sarcastically a few years ago when he first came out because, of course, the name Batman Booga seems a little silly. But over the last few years, watching Batman Booga and Rapid evolve with the meta, with the play styles of NA Central, I mean, they've done really well in every single grand finals. They haven't necessarily been a top 5 or even a top 10 team, but they've made it every single time. And now I feel like it is their time to shine, their time to claim their ticket into the global championships, because the performances that they've had today are so good. They haven't placed below 25th. They got a 3rd and 4th place finish. That is exactly what I want to see out of this duo. And look at them in 3rd place right now.
Sometimes people just build different, Vivid. Sometimes you just build different.
Or they're just from NA West, and that's why Kelly loves them. But Acorn and Cold still holding on to 2nd place, 178 points. But I mean, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, the gap that Veno and Clix have actually established right now. I mean, 81 points being the difference right there. Incredible stuff from them. But another team that we saw, what was it? They went up like 40 places during that last game, and now like another 4. Baka and Pars with a resurgence towards the top of the leaderboard. And this is one of those NA duos who we feel like we always see towards the top of the leaderboard, right? They're very, very consistent. Some would say that they have a similar play style to that of like Cammy and Seti. Of course, you know, not Cammy and Seti are a little bit of a step up, right? Those are invitational winners. They've been to these type of events, but Baka and Pars just like to play passive and play for those consistent placements throughout these games.
They also, consistency is what comes to mind from them, not just in their play style, but they're landing in Chibit Station. That's where they've been landing throughout the entire year. They clearly know this POI so well. And even being between some of the biggest names that we have in the competition right now, like Clix and Veno, Tayson and Iamzo, they are doing these early rotations that kind of gets them out of any kind of danger in the early game there. And obviously that is converting into a great end game. Game 1 was bad. They went off on drop, and now they've made it top 7, top 10 every single game since then.
You know, it's different, right? Like it just comes on. Some of these dudes that come online, right? Like they're like, hey, we've had a few games. It's time to heat up. And once they get going, you can't really stop them, right? I mean, just look at this top 5. I want to go to Pink and Miro there for a moment, right? Though they fall in those 3 places, we've had kind of these other duos perform well enough to kind of catch them. But to stay in a top 5, again, with this change up of an EU and an NA duo, or players coming together to form a new duo, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, definitely is for sure. And we see another one of those kind of teams that you're mentioning right there in 6th place, Baja and Mixon joining forces, 156 points. They've been performing pretty well throughout the day, especially after their first game where they had 22nd place. And then the next games, they've gotten top 10 in every single one.
Yeah, Blaha and Mixon doing such a good job. Mixon, of course, one of the first EU duos to move over in Major number 2, join now. Blaha, they're another European player, and they're doing a great job on the low ground. Love them taking Bucky and Okus out right there. We all know that a lot of eyes are on Bucky and Okus, so to be taken down by Mixon and Blaha, I'm sure they're going to be changing up the strategy just a little bit in the next game, of course. But another duo just doing an incredible job, and I'm excited to see in the next 2 games that we have. Only 2 more games to go. Zeke, this day is just going by so quickly.
I know. Another duo that I saw there in 8th place, Tayson and Yamzo, right? So again, there's just so much talent here in NA. I want to talk more, but it is time to go. We've got more action ready to go from Major number 3. Let's jump back into the action with MDF and the best taco
of Major 3 Taco, and it looks like the Vino effect is in full action right now.
Yeah, all it really seems like, Veno just needed time. Let him cook, because what he is making currently is looking like a Michelin star recipe for success. I mean, Veno and Clix, when you've got a 75% win rate out of the matches that have taken place here today, the real question is who's going to be next to try and follow up on this performance, because there are some other teams on that leaderboard I've definitely got my eye on, being Miro and Pink.
Well, and it doesn't get any more value than this because we are looking at set lobbies, right? Which is very different than the previous majors. So talk about it couldn't be a better time to get your practice in. Well, let's jump into game 5, though, and see how it's going to start off. And talking about kickoffs, we do know, Taco, that they are contested, right? Yeah, sure, they've been winning the drop, but we do also see crazy things happen. You never really know when it comes down to these 50-50 splits on the battle bus like this. So we'll see if Vino and Clix can make it all drop.
Yeah, but to be fair, we've seen quite a few different strategies try to be employed so far by Roxanne and Dax, and literally nothing has stuck. They've been throwing everything at the wall, and it's just all been bouncing right back and smacking them in the face. But there's only so much left to be done at this point. I think it's all just a valuable learning experience, if anything. But restored reels continues to be a hot topic, given that it's Cease and Jack consistently up against Oceania there. Veno Clix, though. Finally, we see Dax and Roxanne able to turn this in their favor. At least one elimination confirmed so far onto Veno. Whether or not they can find that next pickup onto Clix.
This is exactly what I was alluding to. The way the map was perfectly split like that just makes it that much harder, especially if you're landing down here south of the battle bus route. Anything can happen. Let's watch it, though. Clix is going to have to heal up a little bit here, gain the effects. Roxanne just gets a shield on. And Clix is going to go with as much HP as possible. This is going to tell us that he is going to be sticking around to fight for it. But with a player down in that other building, he has to know that he has a chance to go for the card if he wanted to here.
It's almost surprising that Roxanne and Dax aren't investing more aggressively towards securing that second elimination onto Clix, because the longer they wait, the more time they've given him to boost up his shields. Sure, some good tags coming out of Dax. Going to remove those shields almost as quickly as Clix was able to scramble them together. But now he's got his escape route opportunity here if he makes it through that flaming boost tube. Although, this is what I was asking for, MDF. Rox and Dax actually looking to confirm this elimination onto Clix. He is scrambling every which way, trying to juke in all directions.
Oh, another team rolled up. Oh my gosh. Another team rolled up. Aoxy and JoJo dropped Dax before they can finish Clix, who had no material, by the way. That's why he was zigging and zagging like that. It just... You can't get... Like, what do you chalk that up to?
It's also, again, I pin that back to the hesitation that initially came from Roxanne and Dax. If they'd been quicker to the jump,
I agree.
They might have found that elimination onto Clix well before Aoxy and JoJo had the opportunity to come and third party them after the fact. But yeah, they definitely cannot catch a break, even when things look like they're finally shaping up well for Roxanne and Dax. They learn a very tough lesson in this one.
I'm just laughing. You see Aoxy throwing a clown emoji as well. Like, it's just all types of like little subtleties being thrown at one another. It's not looking good though. Clix surrounded by now Acorn and Cold here, who are likely going to get this elimination as he tries to double back. He's got no time left to actually pick up the reboot card of Vino. Cold is just closing the gap here. I was going to say, is he trolling or is he going to box him up? Like, I'm trying to figure this out, but no! JoJo and Aoxy come back. They're like the
Are they
little angels
bodyguards?
on their shoulder. They come to save the day and they get all the eliminations here. Okay, so not necessarily save the day, but just eliminate everyone here. Oh my.